Paul Elia, how you doing, buddy?
Oh man, I'm doing good, bro. I'm not from the Valley, so this is really cool to finally be talking to two Valley guys.
Yeah,
I
that's what
haven't been to the
everybody's been
Valley in a
wanting
long
to do.
time. Yeah, it's old American pastime.
When's the last time I saw you? The Comedy Store. I was
Yeah,
on your
man.
show. When was
Yeah,
that?
man.
December?
Yeah,
Feels
man. I
like
can't remember when December was.
right when things were the before time, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're holding up good. What area are you in then?
Man, I'm in Echo Park.
Oh, okay. Jeez, you're still in the
Yeah.
thick of it. See, we live in an area where people are still somewhat spread apart
Mm-hmm.
and keeping their
Well,
social distance.
so none of you guys are like meeting. I mean, do you guys have girlfriends? Or are you guys like how are you guys handling that department?
My lefts and my rights.
Right, switch it off every other day.
Oh, well, yeah, I got to keep the arm strength up. Otherwise, I just look like a freak when I come out of quarantine.
Yeah, we're about to have some thick ass forearms, player. Like we're gonna have. I'm gonna be able to fucking grab the shit out of somebody.
You remember
Bro,
that?
I'm looking at TikTok videos. People's forearms are fucking huge, dude. I'm like, everybody's just beating their meat.
Jeez, it's funny. So Brandon has a prostitute addiction.
Oh, I thought he just has a prostitute and that's it.
Well, no. He's got it's a habit that he has. You know, look at him. He looks like
Okay.
a donkey is currently barfing at a drowned raccoon. That's his beard.
I thought he was Rob Zombie, so I was excited. But
Yeah, fucking Dave again. Yo, look at that laugh, that doughy face of his. Looks like somebody like opened up a couple cans of Play-Doh, just jammed it together and like stuck it on his shoulders, and that's his face.
Just smushed it in all the weird spots.
yeah,
Yeah.
I look like your guys' intern. Like I feel like
Yeah.
I'm doing all
This
the
is a
tech work.
company. Yeah. All right, come into my office real quick. Instead of paying you, we're going to give you stocks in the company.
Okay, good. As long as I have any stock, my family in India, they'd appreciate.
Oh man. So, Paul, that the show that we did together, the low key upset. That was a fun concept. Do you miss doing that?
Yeah, man. I mean, I just really wanted to have a place where I can just riff
Mhm.
and just let loose and have fun, because a lot of the Hollywood clubs, man, you just feel like you need a showcase sometimes and you got to do your best shit. And oftentimes it's, if it's sold out crowd, I'm not going to be on some, let me try some new shit energy,
Right.
So I feel like Low Key Upset was like my boxing gym. I can like go there and just fuck around and have a good time. So I would say that show was the one place that I can really go to and just like have a good time, man, and just
Yeah.
have friends on and just riff, and not a lot. So sometimes, like, even if it's not hilarious, I like don't care because I'm having a good time. And then eventually you just get that in that habit of just being you. So it was really cool. And I mean, I obviously do miss it, but I'm trying to find other avenues instead of just being in like this depression state and being like, fuck, it's all gone and I can't do this anymore. I'm just trying to find new ways to put my energy. And masturbation has definitely taken a step up. Indeed.
It's good
But
to do
yeah,
a
man.
video podcast with a couple Valley boys.
Yeah.
Between
BOYZ.
masturbations. Yeah. Well, what I like about that show is the comics go up and they do 10, 15 minutes of new material or whatever they're low-key upset about. And then you and the host come on and you guys with the comic and you guys all just riff for a while. And to me, that was the best part. And the audience gets into it. It's great. Mo Collins was on that show. So
Oh, dude,
I went up right after her. I went up after her, and that was the best part of the whole show was you guys riffing with her, and she was just on fire. She just lit the room, just flamed through everybody. It was awesome.
Yeah, man. Mo Collins is a beast. And just, I didn't know how it was going to translate because I do know a lot of sketch people that do stand-up comedy, and sometimes it just doesn't flow as well. But she was just on this riff and talking about her gynecologist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was amazing to watch. Like even the host, like because sometimes we want to jump in and like tag
Yeah.
something someone says, but it was like, no, we just got to let her go.
Just let her. Yeah, exactly. And she was talking. People were shouting out whatever, and she's just taking it to a different level. It was like that is where the sketch comedy / improv would translate really well into stand up. Because you're right. Usually it doesn't. You don't know really, and sketch comedy's hardly ever funny to begin with compared to stand up. But you get someone like Mo Collins who is, obviously for a very long time, on top of that, very good at it. And she was on what, Mad TV, among other things.
Yeah.
Like that's as good as it's going to get. And when you see it in stand-up form, especially in that unique medium where it combines the two, like on Low Key Upset, you don't see that ever. And I love it.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah. So hopefully that gets up soon.
Yeah, bro. I mean, hold on. I got to plug in my charger. Holy shit. Yo, can we take a 2-second break? Hang on.
Yeah, let's pause.
All
right. We're back. Got your charger in?
We are back, guys. The charger is in. There's a lot of technical glitches, obviously. Also, I found out how to do this. I could be a woman. Let's add some diversity to this motherfucker.
Need to hop on chat roulette with that. just like halfway through randomly, like kind of glitch it, like turn it off and then right back on again. And
No, I'm gonna hit on a guy like this and be like, actually, I'm a fucking dude.
Man, that's you don't be doing that, playing that game during the quarantine, because people will be like, well, can you just go back to that for a minute?
Yeah.
It's like,
he does have pretty lips, I will say.
Hey,
it matches your facial expressions and everything. I noticed you're wearing a Detroit Tigers hoodie. Is that your team?
Yeah, man. I'm all about Detroit, bro.
Is that where you're from?
Yeah, Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm a Tigers fan too. But
yeah, you grew up in Canada, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but not in the Windsor area, because a lot of Windsor people are Tigers fans because they go to the games a lot. I just happen to like the Tigers. I don't know. Since I was a kid, I'm big into cats. So Tiger that's probably it, because they were always the shitty team growing up, which is why in 2006 when they made it to the World Series, I thought this was it. Finally, years of suffering, and then they lost to the Cardinals. And then 2012, all right, here we go, lost to the Giants.
Yeah.
And then it's just they barely made the playoffs since then.
So you like cats, huh?
Love
Tigers?
Well, I mean, not so much the big cats. I'm not like Dave Exotic here, like Brandon will try to make you think, but I do love my cats. If I had 10 of them and they could go to the bathroom outside, that'd be perfect.
Would you ever get like a bobcat, like a small one?
If it was really small and docile, because bobcats are pretty small as it is, and they're pretty vicious, ferocious beasts.
Yeah.
So if it was like the size of like a gerbil, maybe a large hamster, I'd get a bobcat. Yeah.
Basically, a large hamster with bobcat energy.
Yeah, exactly. They got those huge ears, and they're shaped like triangles. I love that. I don't want to think about cats right now because I'll just go off onto that.
Well, dude, I was going to ask you like what you thought of Tiger King. Like, I don't know if you've talked about it already.
Oh yeah, we've been nonstop talking about it. It's the best documentary ever made.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Dave jizzed in his pants at least 3 times per episode minimum.
No, I didn't like seeing the tigers all locked up, man. I see that that's not where they belong. They're not someone's pet, But it's the best documentary ever because Joe is hilarious.
Oh,
I mean, he's a piece of shit scumbag, but he's the funniest person.
He married 2 straight guys. How do you fuck up twice? You know what I mean? It's just like you found them on Grindr. Like where? Like how does that work? Where and both those dudes, basically, from my understanding, they kind of just married him for like because of his shelter and money and drugs.
Right. They were lost boys, and he's this Tiger King. He's got a little shit shack for them to live in. He's got some food for them to eat, whatever falls off the truck at Walmart, and he's got a lot of pet cats. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot better than living on the street for these guys, I guess.
Like the ultimate gay for pay. It's
Let's
almost
get
like
real,
a
man.
sport. It seemed like it's like $32 a day, all the tigers you can pet and all the meth you want to do. You have to sleep with me.
Yeah, just one side deal here. When the lights go out, you're mine.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, man. Like when that one kid, like one of the guys got out, the one with messed up teeth.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up marrying a woman.
Yeah, he was having an affair with the secretary. Classic case there. But he was never gay. That was the thing. He was just like, he was roped in at a very young age, very impressionable. Fell for the Tiger King. Went off on when he got back out, he went back to his regular lady loving life. Yeah.
I'm sure that conversation had to have come up in some way. Like, he's probably hooking up with him, and he goes, "Listen, do you like it when I have sex with you?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." Clearly, like at some point, Joe Exotic had to have known that he's not into it or he's not gay, because like I just don't see him, because then that means he's basically faking orgasms,
right?
Yeah,
it's pretty hard for a guy to do.
I've never faked an orgasm, man. I mean, I've been tired before, and like I've like stopped mid intercourse to just be like, I'm tired.
Yeah,
but like
you're not like, all right, here we are crossing the finish line. You're just like, okay, so I'm done.
But how does that work though? Like when you're a guy and doing it, like if a woman does it, it's almost expected stereotype. But like, how do the women react when that happens?
I don't know. Like, I feel like if a guy were to fake an orgasm, like it's. I don't know. I mean, there's no evidence with a woman, because a woman will like orgasm and like nothing will happen and nothing will come out. And I'm always suspicious of that. I'm like, something had to have happened. Like nothing happened. Like you didn't change anything. But then if a dude does it, obviously, there's evidence.
How do they react? Like if you stop like mid sex and you're just like, I'm tired. I can't do it tonight. Like,
I'm just like, yeah, they're like, it's okay. It's fine. Do you want a sandwich? I'm like, no, I want a new person. That's what I want.
Well, if you practice safe sex like a responsible person, you can fake it and just be like, okay, I'm finished. Oh, you don't want to look in there, because no one's gonna be like, hey, let me see.
What if she's like, yeah. What if she goes, Brandon, get back here?
She's like, you paid for this. I'm going to make sure you get your money's worth. No, I'm just kidding about that. Brandon doesn't use protection when he sleeps with sex workers.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, Brandon?
Yeah, on occasion, if I can get away with it, I'll do it.
Oh, okay. Like, do you ask to see documentation from them? Like, hey, are you disease free?
Yeah. I mean, like we go through all that too, same thing. Like I have paperwork too. Like they want to see if I've been tested since last time and all that. So that's the crazy thing. Like you would think that a prostitute would be like the prime place to pick up a venereal disease, but you're more than likely to pick one up with a chick at the bar than you would a prostitute.
Well, you heard it here on the Valley Boys, folks.
Oh yeah, that's science.
Yeah, because I mean that's their job.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like their job, so like they have to take care of that area.
Yeah, exactly. Like STDs and pregnancies are bad for business. So
even for non-prostitutes, it's also bad for business.
Yeah, for most people, there's a lot of people that I've seen that they don't need to be running around with kids, and I'm pretty sure at least half of them have STDs.
Yeah, you talking about prostitutes or just regular people?
Regular people. Yeah,
dude, like so many more people are getting tested for coronavirus than STDs, and like if people were as anywhere near as careful with STDs as they were coronavirus, there'd be so much less disease.
Yeah, but that requires people keeping it in their pants. And if there's one thing that It's
just
showing
using
about
a condom.
humanity, the fact that we're all still here. We can't keep it in our pants. That's not going to happen. What's next after the quarantine? What do you got planned going on for that?
Man, I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. I don't know how live events are going to change.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this is not a new theory, but a lot of people have been talking about how there are some people that are already germaphobes. So there's going to be another new class of germaphobes. And there's going to be people that are already, they don't want to touch things. And now there's people that don't want to go outside. And I don't know how that's going to affect comedy. So, I mean, for me, I just figured once I'm able to go out, I'm obviously going to get tested first and see if I have the antibodies. Because if I have the antibodies, that'd be dope.
Yeah, when are they going to test us for that?
I don't know, man. They should send tests in the mail. I was hoping they would send it in the mail, or
there's a big problem. It's become political. It's an issue where, well, who's responsible for sending them? Is it the state or is it the federal government? And everybody's blaming each other. And you're looking at the numbers, right? Like in California, in the hard numbers, we have the same amount of cases as somewhere like Pennsylvania, despite having a way higher population. But when you look at the hard numbers of the amount of tests, right now it's like something like 700,000. It'll change by the time this is uploaded. But right now there's 700,000 cases in the U.S., roughly 350 million population. Sounds like, decent odds. However, only 4 million people have been tested. So that's like 1 in 5 people tested have it, So the first thing they have to do is test everybody, or test if you have the antibodies. Like they say, another theory going around is in California, we have some kind of herd immunity or whatever, where it's almost like a vaccine where we've all either had it or some variation of it. And maybe we got over it already. Cool theory, but let's get the testing going.
Yeah, man, that's key. So I think I'm just I'm taking it day by day. Like it's hard to plan shit because I try to plan shit because I thought things were going to be over during Easter.
Mm.
So, and then I found out that now we're talking about end of May, and then, beginning of June, we shall see. But my plan is I'm just going to make once we know for a fact that we're going to reopen and things are going to go back to normal, then I'm going to try to formulate a plan. But like in the meantime, I'm just editing and writing and
keeping busy.
Keeping busy, man. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to release an album at some point, and I'm just like, fuck, I wish I would have been thinking of that earlier, because now would be a perfect time to release an album.
And that's what I might do, because I've been sitting on one for over 2 years. I recorded an album. I tried to shop it around to get it someone to pick it up, and I want to translate that into a special, right? But you run into the whole, well, what does it actually look like? We can hear it. We like to, but show us the video of that.
And when did This Is 30 drop?
Oh, so interesting. That came out early February of 2018. And I did that as an experiment to see if I could actually sell albums or not. So I already had the album, the stand-up album. It's still just sitting there ready to go. And I put out an album of 4 prank phone calls, and it's shitty. They're not good. They're not funny. I don't do characters. It's stupid. And I called it I'm 30 because, 30 years old making prank phone calls. And it sold really well.
Yeah.
And that's in week after week, because I just kept spamming it out on the internet. Hey, buy my stupid album. And I'd retweet myself and all that garbage. Pin tweet, and it the top albums of 2018, not in quality, but in terms of actual sales, it's right up there. And so I use that as leverage when I'm trying to pitch my other album, the stand-up album, the real album, to, different companies looking to gain content for stand-up. And didn't get any nibbles on that, but I did for audio albums. I had 2 different bigger companies say, yeah, okay, we'll make a deal with you, but we get to keep half of the royalties forever, and we're really not going to do anything to promote it. And I said, well, I could pretty much do that on my own as it is. So I either give up half my money and have the prestige of being associated with this company, or keep all the money for myself. And so I just haven't made a decision yet, but I might drop it during the quarantine, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you thinking about doing any more like prank calls? Like, would you do like a This Is 30 part 2?
I might, yeah, do a I'm 35, but no, see, prank calls are a weird thing. They were big in the 90s, everybody was into that then. And they never, people that like them still like them. And they tell me that they enjoyed the album. They bought it and they liked it. But I don't want to be that prank call guy,
Right.
That's why there's only 4 on there when I have dozens of them recorded. And it's funny, before I had other ones out just online on Bandcamp or whatever, and I got 2 different calls. The person emailed me being like, I'm suing you because that's me, you motherfucker. And I was like, oh shit. So you got to be really careful about, hey, you can't call anybody and record it unless you're in Nevada.
So in Nevada, you got to call just a bunch of Nevada numbers?
You got to be in Nevada because they allow one-way recording. So that means you can record somebody on the phone without them knowing, and it's perfectly legal there. In California, you can't. You have to tell them, just so you know, this call's being recorded, and you're not going to do
assurance.
that. Yeah, exactly. So
can you say you're in Nevada and just call someone from California?
See, that's another. I'm not going to get into it too much on how I got away with it, but I got away with it both times. And was I in Nevada? By all intents and purposes, yeah. But, there's ways around that. That's all I'm going to say, is that there's ways around everything. And but it was crazy.
A lot of prostitutes in Nevada.
Oh yeah, Brandon, you went there a couple months before the lockdown with old man Dick Rivers. Fucking hate that guy. So we had a guy on the podcast like very early on.
Old man Dick Rivers.
That's his name. Well, or Shitty Dick. He's this guy from Winnipeg. Yeah. He was chanting his own name when he visited LA. We went to the Rainbow Room and he's pounding the tables yelling Shitty Dick. He's just this old fucking loser. He was a radio DJ in the 90s, thinking he's Howard Stern, getting kicked off the air, that kind of thing. He owned a club and he hired me to perform at it, said he's going to give me $300. This is in 2011.
To headline?
To be the only performer there.
Oh, dope. Yeah.
To be clear, it was in a band. It wasn't stand-up. It was playing in a band. And then at the last minute, he's like, I'm not paying you shit. And so I made a big deal about it. And to this day, he's slowly paying off that $300 in various chores and whatever. But he came to Winnipeg and he came to LA and we had this huge fight on the podcast about whether or not I took a shit on his stage, which he says I did, which I didn't. That's ridiculous. But him and Brandon have become best friends, and they go to Vegas together and shit.
Oh yeah.
and not one prostitute was hired.
Well, Dick got one. I was passed out, completely fucking obliterated, drunk. Like, there's a whole story there too. That like Dick knows all the details. We got to have him on the podcast to tell that. But yeah, the last time I was there, like I woke up in the morning, there was puke in a couple different places. Apparently, I pissed in the bathtub or something at some point during the night. Like I was fucking wrecked.
Good. Fuck Shitty Dick. He owes me $300.
Well, where is he at right now in his debt? Like, what has he done for you?
He just bought beers here and there. But for anybody in Winnipeg, if you need some chores done around the house, some yard work, right now they still need snow shoveling. Get Dick Rivers on that, and I'll knock a couple bucks off his debt. Because there's interest, right? There's interest. It's been 9 years. 9 years.
Yeah, man. That 9 years, like, $300.
Yeah. Now he owes $8,000. That's how the banks work, right?
Yo, I'm confused, man. So did he pay for the prostitutes?
No, he got a prostitute after I left, man. I was fucking wrecked. I couldn't even do anything.
Yeah, because I'm sure he has some money. It's like $300 in 8 years.
Yeah,
like
he doesn't want to pay.
Should
it.
Be able. Yeah. Man, well, remind me never to do business with Shitty Dick.
Yeah, anyone named Shitty Dick, don't do business with them.
yeah. Or what was the other one? Big Duke Spagoot? Some shit. Well, I don't know, man, but this guy sounds. I'd love to see a picture of this guy. So if you could text me one.
Yeah, he looks exactly what you would think. And just yesterday, he was trying to call me on Facebook, and it's the most obnoxious thing when you call someone on Facebook. Your phone just
I'm never answering any Facebook calls.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out how to decline it, and then he keeps calling, and so I text him, "Stop," in all caps, and then he goes, "LOL." And then 20 minutes later, he goes, "Oh, really?" Question mark. I'm like, "Yeah, don't call me."
Maybe he want to give you his money back or give you your money back.
Yeah, that's not it though. You don't get a call from Shitty Dick with him offering money. No one named
Yeah.
Shitty Dick does that. Hey,
Yeah.
answer your phone. And no, you know what it is? He's calling because he wants to get back on the show. He likes it, and that's great that he supports us and everything. But we did it at my house, and he came to my house, and it was just weird having him there. I wouldn't let him in the house, just in the backyard like a dog, because he's threatening to take a shit on everything because he says I did that on his stage, which never happened.
So he thinks you actually pulled your pants down and took a shit.
Yes, that's correct. He has a whole story about that, and he's like, it looked like a little puzzle piece, and you took a shit on my stage, and that's what he's been telling everybody in Winnipeg for the last 9 years. He's like, oh, Dave took a shit on my stage, and half of the people are like, okay, maybe, I don't know, and it's like, no human being would do that. And like I said before, there was a guy in the band who was going through a public defecation phase where he'd kind of do that in the streets. You know how it works.
Defecation phase?
Yeah. Every band has had a member that's had somebody do that. You know, you're just like, and like that's how it goes.
Yeah,
But,
I used to be part of a gospel group, and one of the guys had one of the guys, our jazz musician, he had a big problem with shitting on the stage. I'm like, you can't shit before we get into our hymns. All right. This is a song from Jeremiah. Chapter, God damn it, Steve. In front of the audience.
Man, them gospel bands. So does that mean that you are you a religious man, Paul?
I would say I am, man. Like I was raised Catholic, and then I started like open my mind up to like other religions, and just the idea of like humanity and how we got here. I have a theory that there's obviously a creator, and I have my own theories on spirituality, but I'm definitely very open-minded to a lot of other religions. But I'm also aware of some of the hypocrisy in a lot of them. So I don't want to act like they don't exist.
Okay, so you're a normal religious person, like most people that are religious. They are like that, but you're not one of those guys that say, okay, my beliefs need to be woven into law and public policy.
No. I mean, I think we all have free will, so I think we're all do what it is that we want, but I just kind of focus on me. Mm-hmm. And I just try to lead by example. Like if people ask me, oh man, I like this outlook you have on this, and I'll like tell people where it comes from, but I'm never trying to sell my ideas to anybody.
Yeah, well, that's how it should be for anything. I'm not religious, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you, hey, Paul, like abandon all that and join this side where it's about nothing. You die and
shit on stages. It's great.
Exactly. There's no law. The world is a stage, they say. But if you're in Winnipeg, the world's a toilet.
Yo, did you hear about the guy, that pastor that was asking people to give him their stimulus check?
Oh yeah, the dude in Georgia, of course.
Yeah, man. Yo, that was wild. The guy basically made this Instagram video telling everybody to give him their money. It's like, the fuck are you talking about, bro?
It's crazy because they have enough of that money and they're not paying taxes on it. And it wasn't the same dude, but that Kenneth Copeland guy, the richest pastor in America, he's still telling people to donate the money. He's like, just because you have no income doesn't mean you can't give us the money. And he's healing people through the camera. Okay, now you're free of that coronavirus. And
giving someone a Zoom healing.
Yeah, he did that, man. He did that, and people buy into that shit. And they're like, all right, here's my money. That's a dude. Oh, so you remember a few months ago? I think Brandon, maybe we talked about this on the last pod, but a few months ago, he said that he needs to take private jets. He can't fly commercial because they do all that sin and drinking, and there's these bad people on the commercial flights, and it's a quote unquote tube full of demons. Man, I love that. Yeah, we did talk about that, Brandon.
Yeah,
I think he's talking about people that are in coach.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he said. It's a tube full of demons. I love that, man. That to me is the greatest. And we talked about that. It's Spirit Airlines is a tube full of demons. That's their slogan.
Yeah,
Man,
I mean he's not wrong, but you know.
Well, have you
I
ever
don't know,
flown
man.
Spirit?
You know what, bro? I have flown Spirit. The first plane I ever got on in my life was a Spirit flight. I was 24, and then I was 23, and I flew from Detroit to Los Angeles. Like the first time I ever got on a plane was to come to LA.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought all flights were like Spirit.
Yeah, just really shitty. You have like a cell phone sized tray in front of you. There's no emergency exits. If it goes down, we all die.
The pilot. I remember the pilot forgot to give announcements. Like and then while we're on takeoff, he was like, "Oh, hey, by the way," and then he started like giving announcements like as we're taking off. And I was like, "Wasn't that supposed to be?" Like
Sorry
this guy
about
forgot
that.
his lines.
Stopped by the airport bar on the way in.
Yeah, I was nervous, bro. I remember, and I came to an all-star weekend, so I remember around me was just a bunch of like hot girls, just like all flying into LA. And they didn't appear to be buying their own flights.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, yo, your boyfriend got you a Spirit flight.
It's
Listen,
more money for the hotel buffet the next day, you know?
Yeah, she goes, but we're united, him and I, but just not in the air. But
oh, whatever. You did
yeah,
like
man.
every single one of these airlines. I've flown on all of them, and they all suck. But with Spirit Airlines, I went to New York City and back for $250. I mean,
Have you ever flown private?
No.
What about you, Brandon?
Oh God, never. No.
Have you?
No, never. Never flown private. The closest I ever been to flying private is one time I was in Greece with my brothers, and we were basically it's like a 16-hour flight, and I felt like I was in a cage, and we upgraded to first class, and it was $900 to upgrade to first class, and my brother was like, "Fuck it, let's just do it, bro. I can't do this."
Sorry, it was a mid-flight upgrade, or it was
Mid-flight upgrade.
Wow, and for $900?
Yeah, and then they gave us a $300 flight voucher each, so really it was $600.
Still, man, I would have suffered through it like a sardine and kept that $600. Is that what you are? Are you a Greek man?
No, I'm Middle Eastern though. I'm Assyrian.
Oh, okay. Good thing you got in already, right? I was gonna say that. You see this? I was just showing this this tweet that Trump Jr. was saying about Syrian refugees. He said, and this is during the campaign in 2016. He's like, okay, so if you have a bowl full of Skittles and I told you 3 of them will kill you, would you still take a handful? That's the Syrian refugee crisis. So he's saying that, like, if we let them in, they're just going to kill us. And they still won.
Right, yeah. I just love how he's comparing Syrians to Skittles.
Right, yeah.
Let's say you have a bunch of now and laters, right? Let's say you have a bunch of Mambas. The fuck is his analogy, bro? This guy's going to 7-Eleven?
He's like,
probably, yeah, on his way to McDonald's. Yeah.
That's that $600 upgrade.
Well, you know, man, like a lot of the refugees that come to this country, like a lot of them they come here with nothing, and a lot of them are desperate. But at the same time, like anyone in desperate measures does things, you know, like as far as like doing things and I'm assuming he's talking about terrorism. I'm assuming he's talking about Syrian refugees will come to America and they will commit acts of violence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that's what he's referencing. But the thing is, like, whether you let them in or not, if someone wants to commit violence, they're going to find a way. It's sort of like someone says, you know, if you take away guns, you'll never end the desire that people want to kill others. That desire will never stop, whether you stop guns, but then people just find ways to stab motherfuckers to death or throw shooting stars like fucking whoever does that, the ninjas.
Middle Eastern ninjas.
Yo, someone throwing a shooting star is fucking scary.
I mean, no shit. Yeah,
we're good at that. Yeah. We had this guy make shooting stars in high school in the welding class, and that kid, he was allowed back at the school for a little while after that.
Yeah. Great security from the school.
Yeah, and that was before all this mass shooting shit, and it was in Canada where we only went on lockdown once because there was a moose in the yard.
A moose in the yard?
Yeah, there was a moose in the schoolyard, so the school was like, "Oh, we got to go on lockdown because you don't fuck with those moose."
Yeah, man.
They'll rip you apart. They'll trample you. They're huge. People hit them with their cars, and the moose doesn't even fall over.
Yeah, the moose will fuck up the car, and the moose will pound his chest and keep walking.
That's right. But in regards to people will find a way to commit violence, I agree with that. But the difference is they don't have with the shooting stars. It's really hard to kill 60 people at one time, or 29 people, or 23 people, or 41 people with a shooting star. Whereas these guns that people can get, obviously they can do that. And there's a whole question of self-defense. Maybe they need weapons of that caliber for self-defense. But it hasn't been shown yet where someone has killed 60 people at once in self-defense. But it has been used the other way around.
Yeah, the only person that's killed 60 people in self-defense is Jean-Claude Van Damme. But like aside from that,
yeah.
But he didn't use any guns.
Oh yeah, that's right. He didn't use any guns.
Brendan and I met that dude, or not? We didn't meet him, but he was in the.
Or John Wick. Then John Wick killed fucking thousands of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've only seen the previews, but therefore I've seen the movie,
Oh, bro. John Wick 3, you gotta watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm telling you. Ah!
Well, I got all this time on my hands. Maybe I'll think about it. I'll use that time to think about watching that movie.
Yeah, just to twiddle your thumbs. But man, like I was thinking about like what happened in Vegas, like that guy who shot all those people from his hotel room, like during that country music festival. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I think we're worried about the wrong problem, and so oftentimes a lot of people will ask like my take on Middle Eastern immigration because the Middle East is stigmatized with the hub of terrorism and violent acts and people wanting to commit terrorism, which there's evidence to prove that claim. But then there's evidence to say, yeah, well, the real problem is I think domestic terrorism that happens within the country, that happens within America. Like there are more shootings happen within America by citizens than by foreigners. So It's like, yeah. So, you people, and again, it's kind of like the thing about God, people kind of pay attention to whatever details work for them. Like Trump Jr., what works for him is the Skittle analogy saying that, yeah, but there's a potential that 3 of these people could be bad, even though they may all seem well. And it's like, yeah, bro, welcome to America. Welcome to someone going in trying to buy a gun. Looks like a great person, clean record, nothing wrong with them. They buy an AR-15 and then now they killed 15 people.
Right. And that's the thing. Like these are they're all good guys with guns until they're not. And that's beyond the people that commit murder on purpose. There are a ton of these accidental shootings all the time by quote unquote responsible gun owners. Same thing. Everyone's a responsible gun owner until someone's accidentally shot. And they all say the same thing. Like, I can't believe it happened to me. And it's like, well, you're all responsible owners until somebody else fucks up with your shit. And the overwhelming vast majority of gun owners are very responsible with them. I've seen it with my eyes. I've seen someone's guns in a bolted down safe, and it's like, okay, responsible owner, that's great, but not everybody's like that. People keep them in their mattress. People keep them, whatever, put them in their sock when they're going to pick up groceries. And it's like, okay, if you're a sock gun guy, yeah. If you're a sock gun guy, you're probably not storing it like responsibly all the time. And whatever. I'm not saying that people shouldn't have guns and shouldn't have self-defense guns. I'm just saying maybe you don't need a gun capable of killing 60 people at once in the name of self-defense. Like a shotgun will do just as good of a job as as that killing 1 or 2 people that break into your house or whatever the reason is that you need a gun than an AR-15.
Do you guys know where I can find a gun that can shoot a giant net? And like, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
I think it's
like
in
in
the
the cartoons.
1980s cartoons. Yeah.
Yeah.
yo, I would rock around with that gun and I would shoot someone and then put them in a net and then just have everyone laugh at them. Like, look at that fucking bitch covered in a net.
Oh man, yeah, that would be that'd work for me.
Yo,
Best way to
yeah,
solve
I
the
mean,
world's problems.
But see, I'm preaching all this shit. But meanwhile, in Canada, we just had our biggest mass shooting ever the other day.
yeah,
And,
that was wild.
It's up to 22 people. When we did the podcast, it was up to whatever it was, 16, I think. And then he
Yeah.
did it in so many different scenes that they're just still trying to count all the bodies. The dude posed as a cop. He went around pulling people over and killing them at random. That's fucked up.
So his motivation was he didn't target anyone specific.
That's right.
He was just so
On a
this is just
rampage.
senseless rampage. Yeah.
Yep. And chances are, not that it matters, but chances are he didn't use an AR-15. So you're already seeing gun fanatics saying, "Well, look at this guy. He didn't have those weapons. They could still commit these murders if they wanted to anyway." And it's like, yeah, it's also extremely rare that's happened, and this is the first of its kind. And that's the shitty thing. Whenever there's one, there's going to be someone else is going to say, "Hey, that's a good idea. I'm a fucking idiot." And it's just Nova Scotia is where the nicest people in the world live. You know, that's a place where he wouldn't even need to be a cop. He could have just been a stranded motorist, and people would have stopped for him. You know, every single person there, over the top kind. You know, like if you're stranded on the side of the road now, when they stop, they'll be like, "Okay, well, do you need a place to stay? You want something to eat? I can take you back and we can make some." And it's not like a creepy serial killer, Detroit type thing. It's genuine, kind human beings, and that's why it sucks that it sucks when it happens anywhere, but especially there. I don't know, man.
Well, that act definitely is going to change Nova Scotia culture because now there's going to be people that are like, "Yo, I'm not going to be nice anymore. Fuck that shit. I'm rolling with a gun in my car. If a cop pulls me over, I'm going to have the gun right here and I'm going to see who he is." So definitely precautions are going to be made now.
Mhm.
And that act totally fucked up and disrupted the culture of Nova Scotia.
Yeah, you're right. I could totally see that. And like my dad is an RCMP officer, and he was even stationed in Nova Scotia for a few years. And like the worst thing he had to do is like take a bottle out of someone's hand and tell someone that their dog is barking too loud, like it's not.
And they send the SWAT team.
Yeah.
Put the bottle down.
And then he does, and they're like, "All right, see you, Bill."
Yeah, he goes, "I don't want to." It's like, "All right, guys, let's get out of here." He's back up their shit. Yeah, I bet you the SWAT vehicles in Nova Scotia have dust on them.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's just like a clown car,
It's like a wind-up clown.
But that's a place where people don't lock their doors, and you're right. Like it is probably going to change the whole culture there, which breaks my heart because it's just such a, like, it looks like the coast of Ireland too. It's just this beautiful place that people don't really know about. It seems like, despite how awesome it is there. And then fucking this happens. And I don't want to comment too much on it because they're still investigating it and I don't know shit about what actually happened. So
yeah.
just
They start
now,
asking you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, people are doing that. They're like, "Hey, this happened in Canada. Hey, this happened in Nova Scotia," because I have connections there and everything. And it's like, okay, well, I'll talk about it on the podcast, but I'm not just about what's the information that's out there. But there's not enough to really make any kind of comment on it, other than just address how shitty it is.
Yeah, the only comment I would say is that it's just senseless violence that's just in the same lieu of people that are just mental health and just sick.
Right. And that's the argument that you'll hear a lot of people defending guns will make is, well, it's not a gun issue, it's a mental health issue. And that's okay. I totally get that. It is. These people are not mentally fit. However, what's being done about that? What's being done about, especially in America? Like, I know it sounds kind of like I'm contradicting myself because it just happened in Canada, so theoretically it could happen anywhere. But at least Canada has easier access to mental health care than Americans do. So people
Yeah.
touting it's a mental health issue. It's like, well, what are we doing about that? Like it's really hard for people to get that type of for them to get the care they need. And are you advocating for that, or are you advocating for the weapon used in these murders? So when people say it's a mental health issue, I hope that they're advocating for stronger mental health, stronger access to it for everybody. Because if you're doing that, then okay, great. But if you're not, it's just a copy paste argument that you're making to defend the gun.
Yeah, it's a great talking point. It's one of those things where, like, you say it out loud and you're like, you feel like you're actually, doing something without having done anything at all. Like, oh, we as long as we take care of this issue, we need to take care of these people. Yeah, that sounds really good. Let's do that. And then, like, a week later happens all over again, and then it's just the same argument. It repeats itself.
Right. And it is circular because it keeps happening over and over and over again here. And it's the point where it's like, nothing's going to happen. Dana Gould said this. It was one of the most tragic statements I've ever heard. It was after Sandy Hook. He said, okay, if we're not going to make any gun legislation and stronger laws after a room full of kindergartners are died, we're never going to, and here we are. Ever since then, in 2013, the record for the biggest mass shooting has been broken over and over and over and over again. And something like 25 out of the top 30 mass shootings have been done in the last 15 years. So it's a big trend, and people are getting more efficient at it. And the crazy thing is, I do understand that mass shootings only make up a very, very small percentage of gun deaths, which is a weird talking point that gun fanatics like to point out. They're like, well, these mass shootings only make up a tiny fraction of gun deaths. The reality is people are getting gunned down all the time, every day. And it's like, okay, that's not the best point that you want to make. But yeah, you're right. So I agree. We should take away guns. Brandon, you worried about that?
I mean, like, I'm not worried about people taking guns away. Like, I'm not going to go that far. Again, like, I think that's just something that people using as an excuse to, like, go out and, with their tactical gear on and wave their American flags and their jacked up pickup trucks and all that shit to, like, yell and scream so they can show their shit off to everybody. I don't think anyone's truly worried about their shit being taken away.
Why are they doing that? Why are they protesting the coronavirus with their AR-15s in full tactical gear?
Yeah, bro. It's like, and no mask.
Like, you remember, I was a ninja for Halloween when I was like 8, and I remember putting on the uniform, and it's like, all right, I'm about to be a ninja. Is that what they're doing when they put on all this tactical shit? It's like, all right, shit might go down, and it's like, okay, if shit goes down, you're going to prison for murder. Like, you don't have a license to kill. They let you carry that stupid thing, and you look ridiculous. And then they're on top of it all, they're wearing masks, protesting opening America, but they gotta cover up their faces while they're doing it just in case they catch that Rona.
Yeah, it's like, why would I open up America because you said so? Like, you look like a white ninja with a gun.
Yeah.
You don't have any shooting stars, no staff, just a fucking bazooka. Like, dude, man, it's all about the way you go about your statement. Like, these are people that want America to be open because they want to get back to work. Their idea of doing that is, if we get some news coverage, because that's really, I think, one of the only ways to get shit done is the more people that talk about it, the more something happens. Like, Carol, like, if Tiger King's whole purpose was to get Carol Baskin investigated for the murder of her husband, then Tiger King would be considered somewhat of a success because it opened up that conversation. So
no doubt,
their idea of wearing masks and having guns is a very flamboyant, huge, like, massive detail that people are going to start talking about. It's such a extra detail,
Right.
And so I get it. Like, doing that will get you coverage and will get people to start talking about it, but that's not how you want to start this conversation, and that's not a peaceful protest. Like a peaceful protest could probably accomplish the same thing. Like stop putting your agenda with what you're trying to accomplish because they don't go hand in hand. Your idea is to open up a country. Standing outside with American flag as a mask and holding a huge weapon is only going to make people fearful and afraid of you.
Right. I totally agree.
Yeah, I
It's the
think
wrong
it's
tactic.
I think maybe it's the people who never made it in the military and they just want to play G.I. Joe for a day.
It's open mic military.
Yeah.
Well, man, like what would get people to reopen the economy? Like what can they really do? I mean, protesting isn't, it might work, it might not, but what is going to get them to open up the economy in your opinion, Paul?
Well, I would say two things. I think it's important to remember what the internet did. When the internet first came out, a lot of people adapted, and they found a way to use the internet to their advantage. Mm-hmm. So going out right now is an issue. I think people need to realize that there's going to be new methods of economic growth through the internet, through Zoom, through this, like what we're doing. There's a lot of job openings that are going to happen. And there's a lot of people that are going to take advantage of this opportunity. And the economy can still grow, but maybe not in the means that we're set up for, which is to be out in person and do whatever. I mean, there's other ways. So I think the first thing is to identify what ways people can work from home to provide economic growth and how we can get people to spend money, give money, make money, and basically have our economy moving. So I think that conversation needs to happen. And I think a lot of experts in digital marketing and need to step up and figure out ways to educate others. And I think the second thing is that there needs to be a test given to everybody, mailed to their house.
I agree, especially when they just did the census. They know how many people are in there. And yeah, I totally agree. Testing is
testing is it, bro. Yeah, bro. How, like, we need to, and then the Trevor Noah brought up a good point. He goes, but then it raises this question. Let's say there's someone who has the antibodies, right? Now, let's say you, Dave, you don't have the antibodies. You're going to want to get coronavirus so you can have the antibodies so then you can go outside. So then there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be intentionally trying to get coronavirus so they can have the antibodies.
It's like the chicken pox. They're going to have a coronavirus party. Everybody comes and coughs on each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Gangbang starts at 9.
Well,
Eastern Standard.
yes, Eastern Standard Time.
In person though, not over Zoom.
Yeah, but we'll sell tickets to it over Zoom. That's where we can make some money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
internet innovation right there.
So there's another question. So if you have the antibodies and you're allowed out, and if you don't, you have to stay in. That would mean that you have to carry some kind of documentation with you to prove that you can be out.
Yeah, I think the documentation should be a cool. I think the documentation should be a cool neck tat, like right over here, that says antibodies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, in whatever font you want. If you get that old font, means you got the antibodies in jail.
Yeah, I'm gonna get mine in wingdings.
They'll be like, "Oh, is that Syrian?"
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, oh, and I have a Skittle bag. I'm like, yo, I'm a sour Skittle, baby.
But how do you think they would enforce that though? Would they have like Rona checkers, like at entrances? Would they have them on the street? Would they have roadblocks? How would they enforce that?
Well, they actually have a scanner that can actually scan your arm, right? And it basically scans your DNA somehow of your blood, and it basically can tell you if you have the antibodies.
And while it's great that we have that technology and it's very useful, there are too many Americans who will not allow someone with a scanner to scan their DNA and have that information on them.
Totally. And then they won't be allowed into the nightclub. You know,
Right,
they're going to have to go somewhere else.
That's what I'm worried about when you see the people protesting with their guns, and it's like they're going to get their way. They're going to make their way into society one way or the other. Either, and I just don't picture those are the type of people, that libertarian type of thing, where they don't want to be on the government's radar with things like DNA, and they don't want to be tested. They don't want to carry documentation, because that's the whole concept of America, right? Is we're a free country. And if you have to carry around documentation to prove that you're even a legal citizen, even if you're whatever immigrant you are, if you have a green card, you have to carry that on your person at all times. And nobody has a problem with that, but Americans would have a problem proving that they're that they're free of the coronavirus.
Yeah, I guess they should just have it on their driver's license. Just have a stamp that says like organ donor. Have one that says antibodies.
Right. Yeah, that'd be all right. Brandon, would you be okay with that?
I guess. I mean, it'd be one more thing for the DMV to fuck up, though, and then cause you to spend another 5 hours in line. But yeah, sure. Why the hell? Why not?
Yeah. That's really the move. We need to identify who has it, who doesn't. And by the way, this whole process is going to massively disrupt the fabric of America and the world. Mm-hmm. It's just that, like you said, there's gonna be people that don't want to get scanned. They're gonna say, I don't want to get fucking scanned. There's gonna be people that are gonna say, I don't care. I don't care. Like kind of like someone driving without a driver's license. They're like, I don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. I'll just do it anyway. Or someone who so there's always going to be rebellious people that are going to do what they want anyway. So right. I think we're going to go through a period where there is going to be rebellious people that are going to be like, yo, fuck a test, fuck coronavirus. I don't care if I get it. I'm still going to go out. I'm going to go to a restaurant. And those people are going to – we need to level with these people and help these people. So how we do that is, there's thousands of theories.
Yeah, and the problem is, the problem is right now you have those people that are rebelling against this and the ones that are going out doing the protest, and their whole thing is like, we can't stay shut down forever, or we can't have our own freedoms, impeded on forever. But they're not looking at the bigger picture. It's like, all right, you go out now and you're going to have literally like tens of thousands more deaths, within the next few weeks, if everybody just starts going out and infecting everybody. So like people just are looking at the short term when they, when they start getting rebellious about this type of stuff.
Mm. Oh, my buddy actually said a really interesting theory where he mentioned that what coronavirus did was accelerate what society was already kind of putting in motion, which was stay at home. A lot of people are working from home. A lot of people aren't even going to the grocery store anymore. They're getting groceries sent to them. People were already not really going out that much. And this is probably like it basically accelerated what was inevitable probably next maybe 200 years, which is very few people go out. Obviously, people still go to restaurants and go to clubs and watch comedy. But there was a big amount of people, man, that were like, yo, fuck outside. I'm just going to stay here.
Yeah, that's a good way to tell the times is by memes. You look at memes when times were good. You look at memes when times were bad. And right now, memes are all about that, staying inside. It's like, here's a picture of Netflix asking, are you still watching? And it's me. It's a pig with a trail of Doritos around me. Yeah, that's me, staying at home. And now that you have to do it, it's like, oh, man, I don't want to be that pig with the Doritos. But, yeah, I totally agree with that. We are becoming more and more lazy and more every single innovation, like Amazon, arguably the biggest innovation in the last for a very long time. It's just a way to make people lazier. Every single invention that comes out from now on is just a way to make people lazier. Do less with this,
Correct.
And the next big invention is just going to be a way to order all your Amazon crap by grunting. It's like, oh, toilet paper right to your door. It's like, oh, good. Here's $1 billion to that inventor.
Yeah, that's a hilarious.
Yeah. And then some guys just like, and then it's like red ballpoint pen. It's like, no,
I wanted blue.
All right, Brandon. Siri. You know what? Zoom needs a timer on this because I don't know how long we've been at it. So we're just gonna We're just gonna eyeball
It's
it.
been roughly about an hour or so. I mean, we're good, I think.
All right, Brandon, give us the. So we do a little thing here on the Valley Boys where we read out 3 news stories. Well, Brandon does, and you and I have to guess where it came from. So it's either California man, Florida man, or Canada man.
Okay. Florida, California, Canada.
Yes.
Yeah, and each story it could be from anywhere. You could have 3 from Florida. You could have one of these stories be from each place. So it's not always the same place. So are you ready,
no process of elimination.
Oh yeah, I'm good at this.
All right. First story. Man arrested after blowing .339 on golf cart. Did that happen in California, Florida, or Canada? Breathalyzer test of .339 on a golf cart.
Well, I'm just going to assume I don't think Florida people are. You know what? I'm going to go California just because it seems like a snooty thing. Like I could imagine this like fat older dude with like probably like a Rolex that's like hairy ass wrists, and he just got drunk as fuck. And then he just like started driving around the golf cart, probably, screaming racist slurs. And then eventually got pulled over.
Get rid of those Syrians.
Or in Florida, that's what he was driving on the street. And this wasn't on a golf course.
Yeah, so was this on a golf course?
Yeah.
No,
it was yard.
No, it was actually it was down a state highway before the guy turned.
All
to
right.
Florida man.
Yeah, I agree with Paul. Florida.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh yeah.
For context, that's the legal limit is .08, and if he's at .3, that's about 4 times the legal limit.
Yeah. He was on his way. He's well over 4 for sure.
He was on his way to pick up some more beer.
Yeah, probably.
That was probably him pre-gaming.
Yeah, down in Florida for sure.
Was his name Shitty Dick?
I would probably say yes if Dick went down to Florida for vacation, but he usually comes out here. He would be that guy in Palm Springs with the hairy arms. So, all right, next story. Man encases arms in concrete in protest of prison conditions during pandemic. Did that happen in California, Florida, or Canada?
I'm going to go with California just because he has access to being able to pour concrete. I feel like in Florida, you have a pickaxe and a shovel. That's all you're allowed to work with, and it's to dig holes. They don't get to do shit out there. California, man.
All right, Paul.
Well, yeah. This prison inmate sounds like he's about change, and I love his protest. And I feel like he was probably an ex-movie star, and he was trying to put his hands in the concrete, like how they do on Hollywood Boulevard. and he's like the man at Shawshank or whatever prison he's in. So I'm gonna say California.
No. This particular Willie Dufresne was was in Florida.
Oh.
No, Florida. Yep.
I feel like Florida's the answer to all of these.
Yeah,
it was near Tallahassee, which is, I mean, that's the other redneck.
That's
part,
Redneckville. Yeah. You ever been there, Paul? Tallahassee?
Never, man.
Ooh, you're not missing much. And Jacksonville, where they're opening up those beaches. Jacksonville is where every Florida man story comes from, I feel like.
Yeah, I've been to Jacksonville and I've been to Miami.
Miami's way different. That place is cool. But Jacksonville, I had a good time there. Partied with people. It was great. But when I was out and about in the city itself, it was hilarious. So anyways, Brandon, you got one more for us?
Yeah, last one here. Man faces kidnapping charge after holding photographer at knife point.
Well, I can say for sure he wasn't happy with his headshots. So I'm going to say, well, at knife point. So
that's
obviously.
That's why I say Canada.
That's what I say Canada. Yeah. Canada.
He has a moose antler that he's holding him hostage with.
Just like whittled it down and
single moose antler.
Now you listen here.
Don't tell me California.
This one was right in our backyard of California. This was during those protests down in Huntington Beach.
Oh, who is the photographer taking pictures of
it was
protesting?
Well, it was a news photographer. Worked for Fox 11.
Damn. And they held him at knife point because they didn't like the pictures?
I guess, or didn't like being photographed. Well, it was later at night.
Okay.
It said he got arrested at like, I don't know, 7 or 8 o'clock. So he's probably already nice and liquored up by that point.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's what the masks are for. If nothing else, it hides your identity.
Yeah.
Damn. All
Yo,
right.
man, we 1 for 3, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the way it goes. Sometimes
I was
people
0
just
for 3.
people embody the spirit of Florida man out here in California and vice versa. So
Right on. Well, Paul, it was awesome having you on. It's good seeing you again. We'll have to rock another show together once all this bullshit's over.
Yeah, man, can't wait, bro. And honestly, dude, you can shit on my stage anytime. You too, Brandon. If you guys want to do a dual shit, you guys want to throw shit at each other.
dueling assholes.
Paul, where can we find you online?
Man, I'm on Twitter and Instagram, Paul Elia, Elia. I drop a bunch of clips on my Instagram. Check that out. And I'm going to be on season 2 of Rami coming out in May. Check that out.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
All right.
That's everything.
Yep. All right, man.
All right. We are the Valley Boys. Thanks for listening. Peace out.
Goodbye.